Hey friends, it's Kari from the Alfred Homestead, and I wanted to give you guys a little tour or update, if you will, of our orchard that we planted this time last year. And what's different about this orchard versus your standard monoculture orchard is that we focused on a wide variety of fruiting trees. So we have a polyculture orchard, and it is in line with the permaculture style method of gardening, in which we want to incorporate biodiversity so that we can better protect ourselves against pests and diseases over time. And they work in sync together, the trees and all of the plants that we have intentionally planted around the trees themselves to help keep them strong and disease-free, pest-free as much as possible without using any harsh chemicals or anything like that. So we planted 36 fruiting trees last year. We have 2 rows. They're all spaced about 15 to 20 feet apart. We have a variety that works well in our zone. We also are not relying on one specific type of apple tree, for instance, but numerous different types of apple tree that each offer their own pros and cons in the garden over time. So one of the things that we did as well to maximize our production in the orchard is that we are creating a wildflower meadow in between the rows of trees. So in our area, this includes lots of aster and yarrow, for instance, and you can see that I've left those stems, those big bulky stems over time. That's one right there that I'm holding, an aster. And what I'm doing is I'm just cutting it off at the base. I'm not yanking those out. I've left them in there all winter long because that also helps to provide a home for overwintering for good predators that we want in the orchard. And now I can cut them off, the seeds will spread, and next year I will have even more aster around the orchard to help bring in those beneficial pollinators and all of those wonderful benefits. The other thing that we did as well was I planted hundreds of flowering bulbs under all of this mulch that we laid around the trees. They are thriving already. This is their first year that they're going to be flowering, so I'm very excited to see what they bring this year. But the benefits are huge with flowering bulbs. Get whatever perennial flowers are going to work well in your zone that will help be companion plants next to your trees. For instance, with the flowering bulbs, like daffodils and tulips and things like that, they're going to help to keep the weeds out of your tree zone and help deter any deer that might get interested in the fruits coming off of your trees, as well as just help with like voles and critters that might be coming into the ground to eat your tree's roots. There's a lot of things that you can incorporate here as well with your orchard to help that biodiversity and to also just help fix more nitrogen into your soil, which you could always use more of, because fertilizing dozens of trees can be very expensive very quickly. So you want to try and maximize ways that you're going to naturally fertilize your orchard without using things out of a bottle. So for instance, what we will do is we focus on planting nitrogen fixing plants to help fix that nitrogen back into the soil. For instance, your comfrey, any of your beans, anything in the bean family would be wonderful in this. The red buds in our area are prolific, and they will do a wonderful job as well with the pods that they drop onto the ground that get back into the soil, as well as any of your berries. So those are all things you want to focus on planting around your trees as well. Another thing too is plant your herbs. Other herbs are going to really help add to that biodiversity, which will over time help create a more healthy ecosystem that your tree can thrive in. I am sure we've lost a few out of the 3 dozen that we planted. We probably lost anywhere from 5 to 10 trees, and that's okay. We will plant new trees in its place that will be better suited for the soil and for our zone. Maybe those trees just weren't liking the system, the area that they were in, and another different fruit tree would like it better. That's what permaculture is all about, right? Just working with your property, with nature, with what you've got. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I will see you next time.